Right now at 6, Fire and Mercy EMS respond to a fatal Harley-Davidson crash north of Carthage.
And we've got some patchy fog for some of us out there this morning. All of us warming up above normal this afternoon. Look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, Representative Eric Burleson tackles Missouri's manufacturing crisis at Missouri Southern.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News at 6 a.m. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is Monday, September the 29th. A couple of days left here in September, just today. Right. And tomorrow in October, right around the corner. Fall, of course, has already officially started, but you wouldn't know it by the afternoon hours out there. The overnight, not too bad. It's been pretty close to average, but the afternoon's just heating up. And we'll start with a live look outside downtown Pittsburgh, where again, right now, we're looking pretty good in the Pittsburgh area. We're also not too bad from 7th and Range Line in Joplin. We'll head down to the MoDOT camera, 20th and Range Line, also looking good. But as I mentioned, some of us are dealing with some fog. Now, we've seen this, again, it updates approximately every 15 minutes. And so what we've got now is Montgomery County. You had some really dense fog. Western Montgomery County, it's cleared out a bit. We're looking at 9 miles of visibility in Independence, but we now have reduced visibility. Chanute, Parsons, even Pittsburgh reporting just over 7 miles. And then around the Grand Lake area, eastern Benton County, around Anderson as well, Newada. So nothing too crazy at this particular point, but nonetheless, some patchy fog out there for sure. And you've also got to be aware of the possibility of rapidly changing visibilities, because that can certainly happen out there. Even if it's not showing up on the fog tracker, it doesn't necessarily mean it's not there. So do be aware of that. Low beams, not your high beams. Fog lights if you've got them. Of course, slow down. Give yourself time to get where you're going this morning. Once fog burns off, though, today, more like early September, we've got a mix of mostly clear to partly cloudy skies. So as we discussed last week, if there's anything you put off during the summer or something that maybe you just didn't get to, maybe you tried to tackle all those projects and you didn't get them all done, you've got a few more days to do that as temperatures continue to remain pretty nice and we remain dry. We're into the upper 50s and low 60s. So our lows right now, not exactly where they should be, but they're not that far off from average. Sedan is the cooler spot, though, sitting at 55, and we got a string of 61s out there. It's a little bit warmer. Kids heading out the door, we're looking at about 60, some patchy fog here and there. 80 by lunch and recess, 83 as they head home later today, and eventually our highs warming up, go upper 60s, near 70 by 9. That patchy fog should be done by 9. 10 at the latest, 80 by noon, low to mid 80s for our highs out there, in a southeast breeze at 5 to 10. Now, temperatures are actually going to warm up a bit this week, warmer than that if you can believe it, as we go into October, but it shouldn't last forever. Things will change. We'll go over those details with you in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, just after 1:30 Friday, I-49 traffic north of Carthage was delayed as a Harley-Davidson motorcycle crashed into the median. Carthage Fire and Mercy EMS rushed to the scene, and although life-saving measures were performed, the male did not survive. The southbound motorcycle lost control, traveled to the edge of the road and struck a post, then continued into the median and crashed. Jasper County Coroner James Harrison tells KOAM Jacob Morby, a 41-year-old from Bonner Springs, Kansas, died on the scene. And Missouri Congressman Eric Burleson kicked off National Manufacturing Month by touring local companies, Eagle Pitcher and Ducommun. He capped it off with a lunch at Missouri Southern State University alongside students and community leaders. Burleson, who chairs the House Subcommittee on Economic Growth, Energy Policy, and Regulatory Affairs, says Joplin's manufacturing sector plays a vital role in U.S. security, with local companies producing components for defense systems like Israel's Iron Dome.
Iron Dome would not exist if it weren't for people in my district in Joplin, Missouri, who are manufacturing components for the Iron Dome. Whenever I'm talking to somebody who's building a, anybody in the DoD who's working on a Tomahawk helicopter, or someone who's working on the Artemis rocket, or I would say that project is not possible if it weren't for the amazing people in Joplin, Missouri.
Now, when the House returns to session on October 7th, Burleson says he will continue pushing to rein in government spending as the House-passed budget measure remains stalled in the Senate. Federal immigration officials are reportedly showing interest in property in Arkansas that could become an immigration detention facility. The Franklin County Sheriff's Department says that they have been in direct contact with immigration officials. Claire Everbach has more.
Sheriff Crocker says this site is not equipped for the proposed 3,000-bed prison, nor a detention facility.
This does not have the resources. It doesn't have the structure. The highways aren't there. This is not the right place, especially for ICE agents that are bringing in cartel members.
After his deputy says they saw 3 ICE agents and the governor's senior advisor at the site, Crocker says he believes the entire process needs to be more open.
Talk to the people. Be honest with people. Don't lie to people. And if they don't want it, then don't put it there.
Community members agree. Gravel and Grit Director Adam Watson says many officials were unaware of the ICE agents' visit.
Local legislators didn't know, community officials didn't know, our representatives at the federal level didn't know, Department of Corrections didn't know, Board of Corrections didn't know. So it's very clear that this is a unilateral effort by the governor's office to once again dictate the future of this county, this district, and overall the whole state.
Watson says he would like to see more communication from state leaders.
We see Mr. Porfiry come out to Franklin County to look at the site with ICE agents. The one thing that they don't have time to do is show up to the legislature and ask questions or answer questions. And if they're not going to do that, then the citizens are really kind of just left holding a bag wondering what's going on.
Franklin County Judge Ricky Bowman says he feels the county has been left out of the decision making.
We've been kept in the dark. There's just not any transparency about this whole situation all the way through. And that's unfortunate. I wish that the governor's team would be more transparent with us.
He's left wondering why federal authorities are considering this site at all.
My question is, why is Franklin County, the proposed prison site, now being considered by ICE to detain individuals that they pick up across the United States, when the federal government actually has a facility just a few miles from there at Fort Chaffee?
That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes coming up on the KOAM Morning News.
Former FBI Director James Comey is indicted amid President Trump's push to target his political opponents. I'm Erica Brown with the criminal charges and reaction from President Trump.
Plus, students in Lamar, Missouri rake in some money for a good cause. And we have warm and sunny conditions across the 4 states. Chris returns with another look at this week's forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Time now 6:07. We'll be right back. But first, here's a live look from Heslop City Park. Well, topping Nation Watch, Israel's prime minister delivers a defiant speech at the United Nations General Assembly in the face of international backlash for Israel's war in Gaza. Some delegates clapped, others walked out as Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu took the stage. He showed a map highlighting military blows Israel inflicted on Iran and its proxies during the last year, including Hezbollah and Hamas. And he warned the fight against Hamas, who still holds a number of Israeli hostages taken on October 7th, 2023, is not done yet.
The final remnants of Hamas are holed up in Gaza City. They vow to repeat the atrocities of October 7th again and again and again, no matter how diminished their forces. That is why Israel must finish the job.
As Netanyahu spoke, thousands of pro-Palestinian protesters gathered nearby in Times Square, calling Israel's leader a war criminal and demanding an end to the war and an end to U.S. aid for Israel. Well, President Trump calls former FBI Director James Comey a, quote, dirty cop after Comey was indicted by Trump's handpicked U.S. attorney. And he says more indictments could be coming. Erica Brown has more details from the White House.
President Trump celebrated the Justice Department's indictment of former FBI Director James Comey. It's a major escalation in Trump's push to prosecute his critics. But the president insists these charges are not retribution.
It's about justice, really. It's not revenge. It's about justice. It's also about the fact that you can't let this go on. They are sick, radical left people, and they can't get away with it.
Comey is set to be arraigned next month on one count of obstruction of a congressional proceeding and one count of making false statements related to his 2020 Senate testimony when he denied authorizing leaking information to the media.
I have great confidence in the federal judicial system, and I'm innocent. So let's have a trial. keep the faith.
This indictment comes days after President Trump publicly urged his Attorney General Pam Bondi to target Comey and other political opponents, including New York Attorney General Letitia James and Democratic Senator Adam Schiff.
They weaponized the Justice Department like nobody in history. What they've done is terrible. And so I hope there are others, because you can't let this happen to a country.
The former top prosecutor in the Eastern District of Virginia declined to prosecute Comey and was replaced by Trump's former personal attorney and White House aide, Lindsay Halligan, who secured an indictment.
American prosecutors, federal prosecutors, the DOJ is supposed to be an independent, apolitical body that's essential to preserve democratic values, precisely for the reasons we see playing out right here.
Democratic lawmakers have sharply criticized the charges as an abuse of power. Erica Brown, CBS News, the White House.
CBS News has learned former U.S. Attorney Eric Seibert wrote a declination memo outlining reasons why criminal charges should not be filed against Comey. A source tells CBS News that memo is now, quote, under lock and key. Coming up, Chris returns with another look at clear skies and sunny conditions. You're watching KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Good morning. I'm Elise Snowy with your KOAM News update. A deadly motorcycle crash on I-49 north of Carthage claims the life of a 41-year-old Kansas man Friday afternoon. Jacob Morby from Bonner Springs lost control of his Harley-Davidson and crashed into a median. Despite life-saving efforts from first responders, he died at the scene. And the Guilty by Association truck show took over Joplin this past weekend, transforming the city into the region's biggest community celebration. But the heart of the event beats strongest during the Special Olympics convoy, where trucking companies bid for prime positions and raise hundreds of thousands of dollars to support athletes and their families. This event had something for everyone while making a lasting impact on the community.
And we are looking at a mix of mostly clear to partly cloudy skies today as we go into the low to mid 80s with a southeast breeze at around 5 to 10 miles an hour. Those conditions continue through the evening, still somewhat mild, upper 60s by 10. We'll go upper 50s and low 60s overnight tonight, and maybe some light patchy fog here and there. Tomorrow, though, mid 80s, mostly cloudy skies, and we continue to warm up into the end of this week into the upper 80s as we roll through the first few days of October. However, watching a possible system by the start of next week that brings at least some isolated rain chances and returns our temperatures back to normal.
Welcome back. We have Lori Horton with us this morning, sharing her recipe for some delicious looking old-fashioned ginger snaps. Lori, good morning. Yes, tell me about today's recipe.
Oh, this one is such a classic. You know, I think everybody's grandma probably kept those ginger snaps in the cookie jar, maybe.
Yeah.
They're kind of a classic for a lot of reasons, and ginger as an ingredient has always been something that's supposed to help with digestion and you know, if you get that little upset tummy, so it's always something kind of good to have on hand. This one also has a couple of ingredients that you may not already have in the cabinet, so we want to talk about those for just a minute. Ginger, you may have some left over from last Christmas. It's probably fine. Ginger lasts quite a while, as long as you've kept it sealed up in the container and in the back of the cabinet. The one that you probably don't have is cardamom.
Sure.
This is kind of a cousin to ginger. It actually is derived from the same type of plant. But if you have any of this left over from a random recipe
like
for a while,
Christmassy, like a Christmassy flavor.
Such a good Christmas flavor and smell. But you need to toss that one and get a fresh one. About 3 months in the cabinet is all we want to keep this.
Oh, really?
So if you buy that big container and you really don't have anything else you're going to do with it, the alternative is to put it in a small little bag, seal that air out of it, and you can actually put it in the freezer for prolonged storage. Because this is a ton, and we're going to use like less than a teaspoon. So, and this is I think this is pretty much the smallest container you can buy of it. So. The last one is going to be molasses, and we've done some recipes before with molasses. This lasts forever. Molasses is so good because it's actually a byproduct of sugar cane, something that we sort of discovered by accident was really delicious. And you just want to make sure that you're buying the unsulfured molasses. And all that means is it is made from natural sugar cane. It hasn't had any chemicals added to it to sort of speed up that process. And it's really good and sweet. It doesn't have any bitter flavors to it. So it's so perfect with our ginger and our cardamom and cinnamon flavors that we're going to put together. So To start with, I've just got some flour here on the side in my bowl. I'm going to whisk that just a little bit, make sure I don't have any major lumpy pieces in there. And to that, I'm going to add that cinnamon and cardamom that I've already measured out. Again, really small amounts of each. And a little bit of baking soda and salt. And then we're going to make sure that we whisk those all the way through our flour, because we definitely do not want to leave any little pockets of that behind. But already when I put that in there, you can start to smell those flavors. Really, that's why we use such small amounts of those. They're so strong. And the last thing that we are going to add is just a couple of teaspoons of our ginger. And this is not a measuring spoon, I know. I'm really going against my instincts here, but that is at home in my cabinet. So. But we have more than that in our recipe, so do follow that, because we're going to save the rest for a later step. And when we come back, we're going to blend our soft ingredients, combine those, and show you what that dough looks like before you pop it in the oven.
All right, sounds wonderful, Lori. Thanks. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. 6:22 now on this Monday morning. We're starting with the fog tracker. We've got some dense fog here, parts of eastern Benton County, and then up around Chanute, Fredonia, southeast of Yates Center. So some reduced visibilities out there as you get your day started as well. And even to Parsons, parts of Labette County as well, dealing with this fog. Still some patchy fog also around the Grand Lake area, stretching into western McDonald County. So it is truly patchy in nature. There's not a lot of dense fog spread across the region, but you still need to watch out for the potential for rapidly changing visibilities and just be ready to go. Low beams, not your high beams, fog lights if you've got them, and of course if you are in an area that maybe is a little more prone to some patchy dense fog occasionally, especially this time of year, just make sure you're leaving a little bit early out there. Now once we get past the fog, things look great heading into the afternoon, except for the temperatures. Now temperatures aren't like bad, but they're not where they should be. We'll have a mix of mostly clear to partly cloudy skies as we roll through the afternoon. So again, a great day ahead of us. And as we go overnight, after about 2 o'clock in the morning, clouds will start to thicken back up, and we'll start our day on Tuesday mostly cloudy. Our future track is hinting at maybe an isolated sprinkle or two, really anywhere at any time of the day. That chance is honestly less than 5%, but don't be surprised if you get a couple of raindrops on your windshield or your head or whatever the case may be throughout the day Tuesday. But otherwise, we're still dry, we're still warm, and just dealing with a few more clouds. Now, as we go overnight Tuesday into Wednesday, skies will begin to clear once again. We'll go partly cloudy, and just like today, Wednesday, we'll have that mix of mostly clear to partly cloudy skies, and our temperatures again remaining above average. And unfortunately, while we do need some rain, even if we advance this overnight Wednesday into Thursday, just nothing out there. There's no rain chances, at least not in the near term, which is definitely not good news. The only chance we have for anything is for temperatures to be above normal. So again, some of that fog could continue through 9, maybe 10 at the absolute latest. We'll start around the low 60s, eventually warming into the upper 70s by 11 o'clock this morning. And bear in mind, that's about where our average high should be, and we're not done warming yet. Into the afternoon, we go a low to mid 80s out there, southeast winds 5 to 10, and again, a mix of those mostly clear to partly cloudy skies. We'll continue with partly cloudy skies as we head through the evening hours, upper 60s by 10, eventually into the upper 50s and low 60s. So that's the thing. Even this morning, our low temperatures, they're not exactly where they should be, but they're a lot closer to average than where our daytime highs are going to be over the next several days. Winds will be calm. Just some isolated patchy fog is going to be possible again overnight tonight into our Tuesday. We'll go mostly cloudy Tuesday, as I mentioned, low mid 80s out there, mid 80s on Wednesday as well. Sunshine Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Could even see the upper 80s. So, of course, first day of October right there. I know this is not October weather by any means. This is more September 1st or 2nd weather. And then as we head into the weekend, it's still several days away. The biggest thing we'd like to see change is these rain chances. We'd like to see them increase because we do need the rain. But we do have a system rolling through at the start of next week that should bring us, at least at this time, some isolated storm chances. And better yet, temperatures falling back near average into the upper 70s. Let's check your forecast. We're going to send it over to Elise now with Health Watch.
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, a large study of over 1 million pregnant women finds the COVID vaccine is safe for expecting mothers. A Harvard analysis shows pregnant women who received the COVID shot not only had a 58% lower risk of being infected, they also had a lower risk of stillbirth and preterm birth. Researchers say the study confirms existing research that COVID vaccinations offer significant benefits to both mothers and newborns. Well, young adults are being fed misinformation about sexual health on TikTok. A study presented at an American Academy of Pediatrics meeting shows that 21% of TikTok videos about sexual and reproductive health made by non-medical professionals contain inaccurate and potentially unsafe information. Researchers say medical professionals need to work harder to clear up misconceptions and misinformation among young people. And more pregnant women in the U.S. are choosing to have at-home births. Research by Cincinnati Children's found out-of-hospital births have doubled in recent years. The trend is most common among young, highly educated mothers and those who are more likely to have a higher body mass index. The American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists advises against planned home births for higher-risk pregnancies. September is Cancer Awareness Month, and students in Lamar, Missouri took it upon themselves to do some good. KOAM's Mitch Adams explains what students did and the difference they made for a local organization.
Students at Lamar Middle School are making a difference, $1 at a time.
Students, when they came in the morning, there were some student council people collecting money. You could just donate money if you wanted to, but if you donate money, you're allowed to wear a hat for the day. And around here, a lot of people like to wear hats, so that raises get a lot of money. And there were some other people that matched some of the donations that helped us get to the $530 that we ended up donating to his foundation.
That foundation was none other than the Christian Hetty Foundation, founded by KOAM's very own Doug Hetty, who made a guest appearance to accept the money raised by the school.
They told us he had tumors all through his stomach, and we had to, at that point in time, he had stage 4 cancer. It was all over, and we didn't even know.
Someone you see on news every day, something's going on. He's someone that helps keep us all safe during tornadoes and weather alerts, and it's just cool to have somebody that important in everyone else's life come and see him in person and not just be ignorant to the little schools, but he actually came and accepted the money himself and showed that he cares too.
To see somebody in their eyes that's really big, as a movie star to some of them, it's really great for them to be able to see in person and have that interaction and just feel like they were important and gave to a really good cause.
The school principal, J.D. Gee, says that he is excited to see what the students do next year to keep this fundraiser going.
Bring in a little more ideas. They're already starting to brainstorm some more ideas for next year of maybe doing something even more than just one day.
Mitch Adams, KOAM News.
And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, more than 100 people gather in Pittsburgh to help raise awareness and resources for people struggling with Alzheimer's.
And we've got some patchy fog out there this morning. Otherwise, not a bad start to the day. We'll have a look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, the 28th Carl Junction Bluegrass Festival returned this weekend.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News at 6:32. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is Monday, September the 29th, and it is also one more day until October.
Sure is.
I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I don't like the cold, but I do like the fall colors,
Or like a crisper air.
Yeah, a little crisper.
Nice, pleasant.
It feels a little fresher, There's something about that fall air that is a little different. Unfortunately, at least for the next several days, we're not really going to experience much in the way of fall air out there as temperatures remain above normal. We're going to start with a live look downtown Pittsburgh. We do have a beautiful sunrise out there this morning. Right now, we have just a few clouds for some of us. However, we'll start to go partly cloudy as we roll through the morning into the afternoon. Our camera 7th and range line, it's slightly out of focus. I'll get that fixed, but otherwise, the sunrise still looks great. And the MoDOT camera 20 20th and Range Line in Joplin looking back to the north. Got a few more cars on the roadway as folks begin to get their Monday commute underway. And for some of you, you need to be aware of the potential for some dense fog around Chanute, southeast of Yates Center, around Fredonia, back toward Parsons. We have some denser fog out there. And then, of course, we have some patchy fog around the Grand Lake area into western McDonald County and parts of eastern Benton County. So it's not everywhere out there, but we do have that fog. So, of course, you guys at home know the drill. Low beams, not your high beams. Fog lights if you've got them. Slow down. Give yourself time to get where you're going this morning. Once the fog goes away, we're going to have that mix of mostly clear to partly cloudy skies throughout the day today. Otherwise, we are dry and we are still above normal with our high temperatures as we head into the afternoon. Now, our lows, they're not exactly where they should be, but they're pretty close to average, and that's kind of been the trend and should remain the trend over the next few days as well. Even though we're warmer in the daytime, our lows are pretty close to average. Sedan's still the cool spot at 55. Most of us upper 50s, do have some low 60s with Stockton a little warmer than everyone else at 62. Looking to be about 60s. Kids head out the door. Again, some patchy fog here and there. 80 by lunch and recess. 83 as they head home. And for the rest of us, near 70 by 9. Fog continues through 9, 10 at the absolute latest. We'll go 80 by noon. Our highs today, where am I going? I don't know. Our highs today, low to mid 80s. That southeast breeze 5 to 10 miles an hour. This warm weather continues. In fact, it's expected to get even warmer toward the end of this week, but relief may be on the way. We'll have a look at your full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, we'll catch you soon, Chris. Thanks. Well, some Joplin residents gathered at the Joplin Avenue Coffee Company to share stories from local history and Ozarks folklore. The event, called the Joplin Story Swap, gave participants a chance to swap some tales, enjoy coffee, and connect with the community. Organizers plan to meet every third Sunday of the month, encouraging anyone to join, whether to tell a story or to just listen.
This is a group of people that are interested in all kinds of storytelling. We're interested in everything from fairy tales to Joplin history. It's very, very broad, and we're all interested in sharing our stories and finding audiences and encouraging people to learn how to, be better at storytelling.
The group hopes to make it a regular gathering, giving everyone a chance to tell a story, listen, and connect with the community over coffee. And a Carl Junction tradition returns for its 28th year. The Carl Junction Bluegrass Festival returned with a lineup including Living on the Edge Band, Borderline Bluegrass, and a whole lot more. The car show makes its return this year as well and raises money for the local Shop with the Cop program. The event also included more than 100 vendors, a kids area, and a petting zoo. And the Neosho National Fish Hatchery opened its gates to senior citizens and individuals with disabilities for a special fishing derby, one of the 4 annual events designed to make outdoor recreation more accessible to the community. Organizers expected 250 to 300 participants to attend this year's derby, which offers a comfortable and easy fishing experience for those who may not have access to traditional fishing spots. The hatchery provides everything needed, from fishing gear to a well-maintained pond, so guests can simply relax and enjoy the day. And families in Newton County had the chance to enjoy a full day of fun while supporting education. The festival raises money for Neosho Christian School and featured activities the whole family could enjoy. Admissions were just $10 per car, making it an affordable way to spend the day together while giving back to the community. And the Walk to End Alzheimer's took place at Gorilla Village in Pittsburgh over the weekend. More than 100 people took part in the walk, including researcher and former SEK president Matthew Taylor. KOAM's very own Tanya Bach was the MC for the event. The event raises money for Alzheimer's research and breakthroughs.
It's exciting to be here and be where I grew up, and to see that this disease affects people all over the world, it's just great to be here and see that there are people that are taking advocacy roles, that are working towards the elimination of this disease.
Oh, and that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Paralyzed at 14 months, hear one survivor's crusade to prevent other tragedies. Plus, singer Joe Jonas teams up with Krispy Kreme for National Coffee Day. We'll have the latest. Time now, 6:37. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look from Eslop City Park. In Consumer Watch, a possible government shutdown on Wednesday could have far-reaching economic consequences. A new analysis from EY Parthenon finds each week a shutdown lasts could cost the U.S. economy about $7 billion. Hundreds of thousands of federal workers would not get paid, which could cause financial hardships. Federal contractors would also lose funding, which could delay the delivery of some goods and services. And around 58 million pounds of Hillshire Brands corn dogs and other sausage on a stick products are being recalled because pieces of wood may have gotten into the batter. The products include State Fair corn dogs on a stick and Jimmy Dean pancake sausage on a stick. They were produced between March 17th and as recently as this past Friday. Some consumers have reported injuries. The products should be thrown away or returned to the place of purchase. And Java lovers, you're in luck because today is National Coffee Day at Dunkin' Donuts. The very special day will get you a free medium hot or iced coffee if you purchase it on the company's app. Singer Joe Jonas is pairing with Krispy Kreme, so you can get a free cup of Joe, a medium hot or iced coffee to pair with your choice of donut in stores or at the drive-thru and at Starbucks. Any coffee will award you 100 bonus stars in the app, enough for a free cup. Starbucks is also launching its new protein cold foam and protein lattes today. Well, since 2018, federal law has required backup cameras in all new vehicles. New research shows the law significantly reduces injury and death rates in small children. CBS's Bradley Blackburn introduces us to a man who advocated for the change.
31-year-old Patrick Iveson has no memory of ever walking. At 14 months old, he got out of a car with his mom and the driver backed up, pinning his small body behind the rear passenger wheel.
The back passenger side bumper clipped me and pulled me out of her hand, and then the tire ran my head over.
Iveson suffered a spinal cord injury and only regained some mobility after the accident.
I'm still technically a quadriplegic because I have impairment in all four limbs.
Federal law as of 2018 requires backup cameras in all new vehicles. New research from UT Health Houston found that mandate is associated with a nearly 50% reduction in severe injuries and 78% fewer deaths in children.
And this was really astounding to us.
Dr. Natalie Drucker says the research was prompted after she and her colleagues began to see a drop in these traumas.
We had an anecdotally noticed that over the past several years, we've been seeing fewer backover injuries. Whereas several years ago, it was very common.
While that's welcome news, backup camera technology isn't in all vehicles on the roads today. And doctors say those with older cars or no ability to upgrade them are still at risk.
You can't avoid hitting something that you can't see.
Amber Rollins with the organization Kids and Car Safety says ongoing advocacy is key.
Even still today, most people don't know that you can add a rear view camera to your vehicle if it doesn't already have one.
Iveson says the first thing he did when he started driving an older van was install a backup camera.
It's so cheap to do. If you have an older car, I don't see any sense in not adding one.
A small investment that can make a huge difference. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
The organization Kids and Car Safety says now that backup cameras are standard, the cost of aftermarket cameras has gone down significantly. You can find them ranging from $30 to $40 all the way up to a couple hundred. That's a look at Consumer Watch. Let's take it over now to Chris for another quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got an absolutely beautiful sunrise from our camera in downtown Pittsburgh. Just a couple of clouds out there on the horizon. Beautiful start to the day. Temperatures not too far from normal in the morning, but by the afternoon, those temperatures will start to climb. We'll talk about how warm it's going to get and how long this warmer weather lasts here in just a moment. We're also going to celebrate birthdays and anniversaries right after this break. Time now is 6:45. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. Time for some Monday birthdays in the 4 states. We're going to start in Arma with Callie Dawn O'Banion celebrating birthday number 8. Happy birthday.
And a happy 16th birthday to Gunnar Harina in Frontenac.
And in St. Paul, Wade Westoff celebrating birthday number 41 today. Happy birthday, Wade.
And in Crestline, a happy 47th birthday to Karen Jesse.
And we head over to Frontenac for Ricky Burns, celebrating birthday number 63 today. Says, to my husband, a very happy birthday.
And a happy 97th birthday to Leo Hartman in Fort Scott.
And in St. Paul, Steve and Pam Jacquinot celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary. I love the comparison photos. They're absolutely incredible. It says, happy anniversary from the kids and family.
And in Columbus, a happy birthday to Janet McKenzie.
All right, another great list of birthdays and anniversaries. And if you'd like to celebrate with us, grab a pen, paper, or your phone and take down the information Elise is about to provide.
Yes, please submit your celebrations to birthdays at KOAMNewsNow.com. Be sure to meet the deadline at the bottom of your screen. And also, please include the date of your celebration when submitting as well.
Very important information there. And some important weather information. First, though, just a quick look again from downtown Pittsburgh. Take a look. There's just that little cloud out there. Otherwise, sunrise looks beautiful. It's a wonderful start to the day. As a matter of fact, our overnight lows lately have been close to normal. They haven't been exact, but they've been pretty close. It's our daytime highs where we're starting to get pretty toasty. And we actually had that happen. Goodness, when was it? It wasn't that long ago, but I think it was the reverse where our overnight lows were well above average, but our high temperatures were pretty close to normal. Now we're getting the reverse of that. But again, beautiful start to the day. MoDOT camera 20th and range line in Joplin looking back to the north. Lots of headlights out there. Folks getting their day started on what is going to be another very warm, but otherwise pretty decent day for us. We also have some fog out there. We have got some dense fog, eastern Benton County, just stretching into parts of extreme southern Berry and McDonald counties. We got some patchy fog around the Grand Lake area. Our densest fog, though, that we're seeing on the fog tracker here is around Chanute, southeast of Yates Center, and around Fredonia. We've got just about 1.5 miles of visibility in Chanute. Fredonia just under 5. Parsons about 3.5. So as you can see, the fog isn't all over the area, but there are areas of patchy fog, and some of that fog is pretty dense out there. So again, low beams, not your high beams, fog lights if you've got them, and be prepared for rapidly changing visibilities, because while it's not showing up on the fog tracker, and it may have cleared out since then, but this morning, just from Joplin to the station, there were areas where it was fine, and then you'd get some light fog where you could see just fine, and then I would run in occasionally to some dense fog where that visibility dropped pretty low. So that's why we tell you the fog tracker takes pinpoint data here, but it's not going to have everything everywhere, and you just want to watch out for those rapidly changing visibilities this morning. Now, once fog goes away, we're going to look at mostly clear to partly cloudy skies as we head into the afternoon and evening. We are going to be dry, which is not necessarily good because we do need rain across the area. We need more. We just aren't going to get any over the next several days. On the flip side, though, maybe your summer was really busy. You didn't get all those projects done. Mother Nature's granting you a longer window to get some of that outdoor stuff taken care of. We'll go partly cloudy overnight. Clouds increasing just ahead of sunrise tomorrow. We'll start to go mostly cloudy for our Tuesday. Future track again hinting at maybe a sprinkle or two, but right now any rain chance tomorrow is less than 5%. But don't be surprised if a couple of raindrops hit your windshield tomorrow. It's at least a remote possibility. We're otherwise mostly cloudy, and despite the clouds, we're still quite warm. Skies will begin to clear late Tuesday into Wednesday. Will be partly cloudy overnight. And then Wednesday looks a lot like today, where we'll be mostly clear to partly cloudy across the area, and it will remain that way through the afternoon hours as we continue to stay above average. In fact, maybe even going well above average as we head toward the end of this week, which is just no fun considering that it's going to be October in a couple of days. It's not going to feel like it at all. And even go as late as 1 o'clock Thursday morning, you can see still dry. Look at that sunrise, all those colors. Absolutely gorgeous from 7th and Rangeline in Joplin. Again, that fog could last through 9, maybe 10 at the latest. We'll be in the low 60s to get our day started, but look how quickly we warm up. Upper 70s by 11 o'clock this morning, ahead of highs into the 80s once again. We'll have another full look at your forecast and your wake-up recap here in just a moment. And when we switch over to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., from kids' tractor pulls to big rig burnouts, the Guilty by Association Truck Show offered something for everyone in Joplin this weekend while supporting Special Olympics. That and so much more at 7 a.m.
This is your wake-up recap for September 29th. The top stories to start your day. A deadly motorcycle crash on I-49 claims the north of Carthage claims the life of a 41-year-old Kansas man Friday afternoon. Jacob Morby from Bonner Springs lost control of his Harley-Davidson and crashed into the median. Despite life-saving efforts from first responders, he died at the scene. And the Guilty by Association truck show took over Joplin this past weekend, transforming the city into the region's biggest community celebration. But the heart of the event beats strongest during this Special Olympics convoy, where trucking companies bid for prime positions and raise hundreds of thousands of dollars to support athletes and their families. The event had something for everyone while making a lasting impact on the community. And Joplin's manufacturing companies take center stage as Congressman Eric Burleson showcased their contributions to national defense. Burleson toured Eagle Picture and Ducommun during National Manufacturing Month, highlighting how these local firms produce components for critical defense systems. And that's check up today's Wake Up Recap.
As you out the door again, some patchy fog out there for some of us. That'll burn off by 9-10 o'clock. We'll be mostly clear to partly cloudy through the afternoon and well above normal, with our temperatures climbing into the low to mid 80s with the southeast breeze at around 5 to 10 miles an hour. Into the evening we go, still partly cloudy, still mild initially, upper 60s by 10. It's our overnight lows. They're going to be pretty close to normal over the next few days. Not exactly, but a little closer than where our daytime highs will be as we fall back upper 50s, low 60s. Calm winds and maybe some isolated fog as we start our Tuesday. We're going to be mostly cloudy Tuesday. An isolated sprinkle or two is possible, but not very likely. We'll go into the mid 80s Tuesday, Wednesday, and take a look at this. We go into the first few days of October. That's like the first few days of September. That's not fun, but we're going to be pushing the upper 80s, some of us getting close to 90 degrees. Staying warm through the weekend. Got a weak system coming in next week at the beginning. Hopefully it brings more rain because we certainly need it, but outside of the isolated storm chances should drop our temperatures back to more seasonable levels by the second half of next week.
All right, and coming up today at noon, we're making after-school pizza puffs in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings, the latest on the horrific church attack in Michigan. And a man who was inside with his family joins the show to describe what happened.
You can also join us over on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, Laura Horton joins us to continue sharing her recipe for old-fashioned ginger snaps.
Plus, students' reading scores dropped to the lowest level in history, according to the nation's report card. Why experts say bedtime stories are more important than ever. However, it's going to wrap us up for now. We will be back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.